So you might be able to hear, this is one of the windiest parts of Cornwall. Let me just take a step back and let you know where I am. So that's the Crown's engine house down there. I stepped out of the wind. And where I am is an arsenic calciner. My name's Paul, I'm the Down-to-Earth Geologist, and I'm going to talk to you today about arsenic. So you can just about make out the furnace there, on the edge of the furnace. And this pathway in front of me is the flue. So arsenic was actively mined in Cornwall. You'll probably know arsenic as a poisonous metal, or a poison even, but it's poisonous metal. It's found in the same places that the tin and the copper are found in Cornwall. In fact, actually it's disseminated right the way across Cornwall and West Devon. And it's a big problem if you're looking to build anything around here. Arsenic, it's a carcinogen, and it gets inside the body and it will stay inside the body for life. And therefore it's a big problem if you ingest it or if you inhale it. So, why was arsenic actively mined? Well, in the 1800s and the early 1900s, arsenic was used for a number of things, including pesticides, but it was also used as pigment in paints. And therefore, in order to be able to use it, the arsenic had to be mined. The arsenic was mined in exactly the same way as the tin and copper were, and it came out of the ground as big lumps. Those lumps were broken down mechanically, and then they were roasted. So that furnace that we started off in was where they would have been roasted. And what happened is, as the arsenic was roasted, it would have given off gases. Arsenic trioxide. And that arsenic would have travelled up a flue. So the passageway that we're walking along now would have been completely enclosed. Just like this, all of the way along. And in order to extract the most arsenic, you need a longest flue. You need a flue built into a hillside so that it's got an awful lot of height difference between the top of the chimney and the furnace. And really you need the gases given off to completely cool, so that the arsenic trioxide can settle out on the walls as soot effectively. And that's why this flue is so long. It's absolutely massive, in fact. We're only about halfway round. And you'll see these labyrinths all the way across Cornwall. But this is the largest that I know of anyway, and certainly one of the best preserved, because it's still fully enclosed here. It's all been made safe so that you can come and explore it yourself. I've got my children with me today who are enjoying it, and we're just going to walk the route that the smoke would have taken, or as much of it as possible. So, there's a small section just here that we can't walk. I'll explain why in a moment. So what would have happened then? The arsenic would have come along here, and it would have been drawn by a large chimney at the far end. So the flue ran over there. That's the bit that we can't walk, over this magnificent arch. And it came out here, and then back down here, back into this labyrinth. You look at this and you think, is this a Stone Age house or something like that? But no, Victorian mining. And so the arsenic would settle out on the walls, and then the smaller calciners, you'd send a boy up them. These ones you could send an adult up, and they would literally scrape the arsenic dust, the arsenic trioxide dust, off of the walls into a bucket so that it could be sold. And there was a rumour that that wasn't quite as deadly as you'd think it would be, because people were faced with a complete sudden shock of arsenic rather than a prolonged build-up. There was a rumour amongst some of the old miners that this used to actually provide them with more immunity. I don't know how much truth there is in that, and certainly I've not seen any modern science to suggest that that was the case. Look at this fantastic piece of quartz rock here. Absolutely beautiful. Just one large crystal. Lots of large crystals there. But these doorways here, that you can see the other side and just here, would have been how people used to access here. I think part of the old wives' tale about the immunity probably comes from the fact that 200 years ago people didn't have a very long lifespan anyway. And with arsenic being a bioaccumulator that accumulates in the body, actually, you know, you probably need to live to your 60s and 70s to really see the effects. And, you know, 150 years ago, especially in this part of the world, with mining as a major industry, people just didn't live that long. So that's probably the reason why it gained that story. So arsenic is still a problem nowadays, particularly on old mining sites, sites where there were previously calciners. Well, look, you can still see the roof here at the entrance, and the doorway is still here as well. So, absolutely fantastic. So if you're planning a development, particularly in Cornwall, or even if you're just buying a house and getting a mortgage, then actually arsenic can be a real problem. I've seen people have been refused mortgages, and certainly developments require remediation prior to development in order to go ahead. And you can see now we've come to the end of the flue. It's taken us, 9 minutes nearly to walk that, and you can see where we are now is this massive chimney as well. It's slightly wonky at the top, but to this massive chimney that would have drawn the fire even further. And there we go, look, that's the calcining room there, and this flue extends all the way along here through the labyrinth, both sides, and this beautiful, beautiful site. So I hope that's helped you learn a little bit more about arsenic and about how it was used and why it was mined in Cornwall, and a little bit about more why it's such a problem nowadays. And what we'll do is we'll just leave you with a parting shot through this archway up here, and there we go. Look, my name's Paul, I'm the Down-to-Earth Geologist. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll join you on the next one.